For the latest developments, we're joined by Channel Africa's correspondent in Nigeria, Jonathan James Lyamgohn. Jonathan, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
I mean, as we try and make sense of the pay rise and what it really essentially means and the kind of impact it'll have on the forces, what are the key details of this pay rise approved by President Tinubu?
Well, from the details that the spokesperson to the president has released, it basically would reflect what can be said to be about a 40% increase in the total budgetary allocation that will make up for salaries. However, it is slightly broken down in some sort of complicated a manner whereby the pay rise isn't equal across board. What you've got is the pay rise is according to ranks, because the entire pay rise covers the rank and file of the Nigeria Armed Forces. So persons of the equivalent of the rank of lieutenant colonel and below will get more money, while persons of the rank of colonel up to the other three, four tiers of general ranks, that is, after the colonel, you've got the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star generals. They would get the equivalent of 30%, while persons immediately in the middle rank, middle band, will get the equivalent of about 50%. Then persons who are much lower in rank will get as much as 80% increase. So that is how it is staggered.
I mean, okay, I suppose the big question is why now? Because we know that for years on end, troops have complained about poor welfare, delayed allowances, and even complaints of inadequate equipment. Will higher salaries be enough to lift morale if those broader concerns remain? And of course, also shining a spotlight on the issue at hand, which is security.
I mean, the presidency's own, so the official position is why now, because there's no better time. And the presidency says that this is done so as to recognize the efforts of men of the Nigeria Armed Forces and as well as to encourage them and boost their morale. However, a couple of, as you can expect, as it is with politics and politicians, a couple of people have said the timing is no mistake, that it is coming at the eve of the beginning of political activities, meaning there is some political undertone. However, this isn't the first time that there has been a pay rise under this administration, because there was a general pay rise or lifting of the minimum wage not about less than 2 years ago. And that definitely affected the military. And recently, Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, was quoted to have said that Nigerian government has been able to raise the salaries of the lowest paid soldier to about the equivalent of about, say, 100 and maybe 20, maybe 140, $50 or its equivalent. About $100 and below. He says that that has never happened, and the welfare of the men of the armed forces is key, because he himself only recently left the military, only a couple of months before he became the Minister of Defense. So he says that welfare is critical as a way of boosting the soldiers' fight against insurgency.
Yeah, I suppose, are there concerns about how the pay increases will essentially have a ripple effect, affect Nigeria's public finances, especially given the country's current economic pressures?
There are a couple of economists that I've spoken with today express that. They say what represents a 40% increase in budgetary spend for just one line item, which is wages, is very radical. And they are very concerned as to where this money is going to come from, especially given the backdrop of the fact that only last week, Nigeria's president again announced an increase in the number of divisions in the Nigeria Army, increasing the number with about 4 new divisions. meaning that the cost of administrative running is going to go up because it now means you have four more divisions where you would have administrative structures being put in place. And then also, Nigeria's president has given a directive to increase the number of recruits into the Nigerian military.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this is going to amount to more spend. And people say that Nigeria's economy hasn't exactly performed spectacularly to warrant this. But then another set of experts say if the war against terrorism must succeed, it is very important that the number, because being able to cover the country and strengthen internal security and be ready for any possible external aggression requires an increase in number. Also, the population growth in Nigeria, we've gone from 100 and something million to 200 and something million people, while still maintaining a force of about 250,000. Many argue that there needs to be a reflection of a good percentage of the nation's population in the armed forces.
So what has the reaction been on the ground, just analyzing the public and also the military perspective? What has been the reaction from within in the armed forces?
Well, like one of the voices that spoke out in favor of this today is someone who I think about two chiefs of army staff ago, who also went on to become Nigeria's ambassador to I think the Republic of Niger. Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, retired, said the president's move is one that has come in the right direction, and he expects that there should still be more. Also, most recently as well, the immediate past two past chief of defense before the current one, General Lucky Irabo, also had recently spoken that the recent changes being advanced by the president, like increasing the number of divisions, is one that is good to strengthen the fight against insurgency. But he also emphasized that this shouldn't stop at the army alone. It needs to stretch into the Air Force and the Navy to improve capacity. But I think what we are getting from civilians and Nigerians in total that we've spoken with is like there's a proverb around here that says that the dog only knows when there is an occasion in its household when it can see food on the floor. Most people are particular about seeing the results as against the political decision, which is better security in Nigeria.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us and summing that for us. Channel Africa's correspondent in Nigeria, Jonathan James Lyamgohn.